Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria 3, where we are currently quite negative financially, and I'd like to do a little bit of work on that. I suspect that this problem is due to our market access issue. We are going to do something about that. We have an available decision, pandemic response. We should probably do something about this. So minus 50% throughput over here for 5 months, or minus 25%, or we can just say we can't risk harming the economy. Up to 4 waves, huh? Less likely to experience successive waves of the flu. To be honest, these areas are... I mean, Western and Eastern Afghanistan have, like, pretty high amounts of electricity that they take in. But I think that we're probably just going to impose a strict lockdown and just deal with it. So that'll be fine. We'll get that done. That is going to harm our economy, but I'm not too concerned about that right now. We should be fine once we get these other issues dealt with. So that's okay for the moment. We can establish a new company, and I was just looking through here. I'm a little surprised that there isn't any sort of... I mean, there's like the oil consortium, which is probably what we're going to end up doing, but I'm a little surprised that there isn't any sort of like railway company. Mildly surprising. But I think we're just going to go with the oil consortium because that is just the highest productivity. So we'll put that in, that'll be fine, and I would like to deal with some of our market access issues here. So I want to take a look at our railways here. So minus 132 infrastructure in Saratov. A lot of this is due to expansion of oil. So I want to take a look at this. This needs to be subsidized. And that's going to be essentially 6 levels of railway. So that's 25 infrastructure per level, or 150 infrastructure. So that's probably fine. We don't need to expand that here. In Armenia, this is maxed out. We need 3 levels of railroad here. In Nenetsia, this is only at 33%. It is subsidized. So we need more people here. I'm going to expand this by 1, but we probably don't actually need that. In Ob, this is currently maxed out. We need 2 levels of railway here. I should have put those at the top of the list. I didn't. We'll come back to that. A level in Moscow, almost certainly. And in Yakutsk, this is not maxed out in terms of its employees. I'm going to put in another level here, but it's probably unnecessary. In North Borneo, this is maxed out, so we'll expand that. In Greater Caucasus, this is not maxed out. We will subsidize that. I'm going to give it 1 level as well. In Kazan, this is maxed out. We'll expand, and maxed out, and we'll expand. Okay, so that'll do for now. There are a couple of railways at the bottom of the list that we want to bring up, and there's some North Borneo constructions there as well. I want to check through this real quick here. Yeah, it's pretty much just oil rigs, which is not shocking at all. Okay, so we're going to get that construction underway. That all looks good. We're minus 344k, but I do expect a large amount of that is to do with this market access. Now, there's an electricity shortage out over here in Russian Luzon, and the question is, why is this? Well, we need to subsidize this power plant. That will probably help matters. Transportation shortage out over here. We're already expanding this by 1. How much is the transportation shortage here? Does this tooltip say? It says that there's a shortage. Local balance minus 309. Okay, so each of these levels is going to give us 40. I'm going to queue up a second railway here. That'll do for now. Okay, we're going to tick forward here, but I do want to think about our war on the Dutch East Indies. I want to get all of Borneo under our control. And we'll do that eventually. The question is when. If we were to transfer state here, which we can't currently do, but if we were to transfer West Borneo, which I believe is at pretty much the bottom of the list here, return state would be 4 infamy. Now, note that the US is in this list, as is Great Britain. That's a little bit spooky. Apparently the US has established interests in this region. They didn't have that previously. Are they still rivaling us? That is a question I want to ask. Yes, and is Britain still rivaling us? Yes. Okay. So our infamy is a little bit high to pull that off right now. We need to let our infamy drop. So we're going to tick forward, and we'll see how that ends up going. But we've made a bunch of adjustments to the transportation situation that will improve somewhat. Emphasis on somewhat. No doubt about that. So we're going to be running this deficit for a little bit here, and we'll just need to get this being worked on. Are we actually bringing in any employees here? The answer is no. We lack population here then. Yeah, pretty much. Okay. I'm going to bump up our power plant to a level 2, but that's not going to help very much. Oh, hey, look at that. Minus 42.1k. That is getting a lot better. No doubt about it. And we can also start working, in theory, on... I doubt they would accept an annexation. We can start to work, in theory, on reducing some of this autonomy. 25% chance of acceptance. Yeah, this is all just annexations, right? I'm interested in reducing autonomy, not annexation at this time. So for the moment, I'm just going to go through here and check all of these to see if there's a reduced autonomy for any of them. There's for Norway, remarkably. They'll accept this, and yeah, we'll just go ahead and do that. So that's reduced autonomy on Norway. Down over this way, I'd like to do the same on one of these guys. I believe I found one down here previously. That's grant independence. Oh, we have to wait until they accept that. Norway accepted demands. Okay, so we can reduce autonomy here. That's only 0.6. Mexico is improving relations with us. Now, our infamy is currently up at 45. We're going to need to chill. Absolutely. Lanfang will accept this as well. That looks good. And these guys we're going to have to wait on to reduce autonomy there. So that's reasonably fine. Checking through up over here, that's all annexations, and that's okay. To the new century, indeed. Plus 5 legitimacy sounds good. We'll take that. We're going to ignore the leak here. The industrialists are going to be upset, but we're doing fine economically. I'm not too concerned about our crackdown. Our economy is not an issue right now. Italy is improving relations. That seems fine. And, of course, our infamy is very up there. No doubt about that. Militarily, 40k. Britain is at 33. US is at 35. Cool. When will this plague end? Indeed. So we now have access to a decision there again, I think? Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. We definitely do need to get this low market access dealt with. That is a high priority. And what is our current taxation level? Okay, that looks pretty good. Oh, we just got stonks again. We got that earlier, I'm pretty sure. But we just had a company reach max level. That's fine. We are seeing negative bureaucracy right now, which does mildly surprise me. We were at like 1.5k at the beginning of this, but we do have some negative taxation capacity here. Each of these is 15 taxation capacity, so I'm going to build 2 in Samara and 2 in Kazan. Okay, something along the lines of that. Excellent. That seems fine. No major problem whatsoever there. We'll get those completed. Also, most of our money is going, or rather most of our construction is going into private construction. So a lot of these are no longer being constructed. That's okay. We'll work our way through this. Actually, a lot of that's just due to the government administration and the negative construction efficiency, which, keep in mind, that is primarily due to turmoil. One question that I have. Minus 8.2 from turmoil moderate. Okay, let's grab somewhere at random. It doesn't really matter where. And I want to take a look at the turmoil here. Actually, there's no turmoil there. There's turmoil here. Okay. So effects of turmoil multiplied by minus 75% due to minus 15% from each level of law enforcement. Okay, so that's the way that that works. I gotcha. So this is being reduced in this tooltip, not in the further tooltip. I just wanted to double check how that was being implemented. Sure, we can have a size 1 university in Tver. That's okay. Urban center employee standard of living in Ingria, or 2% of middle strata pops in Ingria becoming more loyalist. There's probably not that many middle strata pops there. There's probably a few, but we'll just do something along the lines of that. Excellent. So we are slowly progressing through these constructions. They are going to need to be done, but we are improving our finances at a reasonable situation. Okay, Egypt is now conciliatory towards us. That's good to note. Britain is not, neither is the US. I'm hoping that the US will drop their rivalry of us fairly soon, but our infamy might be too high to do anything else before the end of the game, militarily, realistically. That might be the case. We might have to wait until Hearts of Iron to finish our conquest of Borneo. We'll see how that ends up going. But for now, I'm reasonably content with how far we've gotten. We have managed to conquer quite a lot of territory, including maintaining and expanding our foothold in the Americas, which is actually a really big deal for Hearts of Iron. So that'll be really, really, really good for us. I do want to get these government administrations finished up soon enough. Each one of these is going to give us how much bureaucracy? That's in here. 65. Okay, so this is not going to bring us positive in our bureaucracy. That is definitely noted. I want to check in on the institutions here. Yeah, this seems fine. No major issue there right now. Checking in on any law changes we might want to do. I think, honestly, we're about as good as we can get here. I mean, our elections have been kind of awkward, but that's to be expected, to be honest. I'm not too shocked about this. So we have appointed bureaucrats right now. We could go to elected bureaucrats. But I kind of like being on the taxation capacity boost. That said, minus 15% bureaucracy institution cost multiplier. Not that many people opposed to it. Noted. No, I think our laws are in a reasonably decent state right now. We've definitely liberalized somewhat, but not as much as a lot of other countries would want to. I think that's just generally a Russia thing, which is fine. We can absolutely work with this. So these government administrations are finishing up now. That will deal with that taxation capacity issue. Yeah, there we go. We can see that that is better. It's not perfect. I think that we're going to need an additional government administration here pretty quickly. So that seems okay. We can get that done. This power plant will get done eventually, and we, of course, have these railways being built right now. So that is kind of the top priority at this moment, getting all of this market access dealt with. The market access is a big problem, and we do need to deal with that. Telephones are also considered expensive. I don't want to do anything about that until our railways are complete. So we'll just let those continue to cruise on through for the time being. But with our infamy at 43.6, we're probably better off to just work on vassals at this point. So that seems reasonably fine. Keep in mind, New South Wales is also ours. Interesting. They're already at the lowest level of subject. I didn't realize that. That's good to know. So that gives us an in on Australia, and we have an in the South Pacific, in Asia, in Europe, and we're only really lacking one in Africa and South America. But we can conquer North America up this way and then push down to South America. Similarly, we can conquer into the Arabian Peninsula and then into Africa. So I'm not too concerned about getting anywhere in Hearts of Iron. I feel like we're in a good spot for a world conquest. The only question is, can we get enough manpower? Probably is my guess. I think the answer to that is probably, especially if we can conquer China fairly early on. That would be the idea. That said, there's not really any way to integrate in Hearts of Iron, so we'll see how strong of a position this really is, but I think it'll be a strong enough position. I would have liked to get Ukraine and Poland, but that was a lot of infamy out over here. We could do a make protectorate on Poland, but people will definitely interfere in that, and I kind of don't want to do that as of right now. We are running a small deficit. I don't mind that, but we're running a surplus in bureaucracy now, so that seems good. Yeah, that seems absolutely good. Our GDP is continuing to soar here. We have the #1 GDP in the world still, right? Yeah. I know some of our previous GDPs have broken 1 billion, but I don't expect that to happen here. Russia's in a bit of a tougher spot. A communist Finnish diplomatic play. Okay. I don't expect this to be useful at all. So let's grab our National Guard here, and we're just going to send those on over to this front. This is a teeny tiny little revolt. Okay. Yeah, that's not going to go well for them at all. So we're getting these railways completed. All of the railways are being worked on, and we're now starting to work on some oil rigs in Dagestan. That seems good. There's an electricity shortage in Tomsk. I want to see what's going on here. Okay. Yep, this needs to be expanded. So we'll get that queued up. No problem whatsoever there. And our market access is getting better. Automobiles and man of wars are currently expensive. That is noted. Okay, what is this? What is going on here? Mysore against Belgium. Okay. Fascinating. They would not accept this diplomatic play. Okay, noted. So we do want to get some more diplomatic plays if we can. We'll see what happens with our infamy. It is quite high right now. And I would definitely like to get Borneo conquered. I don't know how realistic that is unless the US or Britain drops their rivalry. That would be the go signal there. And honestly, the US might soon. They're at -1 neutral. The US and Britain sided with Belgium against this proletarian revolt. Okay, have fun with that, proletarian revolt. They are not going to have a good time. I can tell you that right now. So we've got these events going on. Arts Academy building throughput sounds good. Lower strata pops becoming more loyalist. We'll take it. So that was 0.02 million loyalists. We have seen our radicalism declining over the last little while. That's good. Our standard of living is definitely going up, broadly. So we're very happy about that. And our market access is improving. It's not ideal yet, but it'll get there. We're currently about 16 weeks away from having all of these railways finished. And we are working on some oil rigs in the background. So that seems absolutely fine. This is countdown to war up here. Nobody's going to interfere with that. That all seems good. And our grand exhibition is going to be in 8 weeks. So this all seems good. No problem whatsoever here. Beautiful. So our additional expenses are very low right now. We're funding an oil pipeline. And that's literally it. Okay, more economic shutdown going on. When will that plague end? The answer is probably pretty soon. I'm actually really not too concerned about our GDP. Our GDP will recover very quickly afterwards, so that seems fine. In fact, generally, our GDP is doing okay. Not perfect, but okay. We accept a trade deal with Mexico, and this war is already over, to absolutely no one's surprise. That was never going to be particularly difficult. Fantastic. 3 weeks until the Grand Exhibition is done, and our railways are going to be done in 13 weeks. And the US is now damaging relations. Okay, we managed to get them up to +1. They're damaging relations at this time, which means that it's going to be a mutual relations change of -1 because they have us rivaled. Okay, so the US is being jerks there, but we're not shocked about that necessarily. Okay, Outer Manchuria is getting some plague. That seems fine for the moment. And we'll just take the temporary hit. In the long term, we would rather have the population. So that seems good. Wonderful. Just wonderful. We got 100 prestige for our grand exhibition in the middle of our plague. I'm sure that's not going to cause any problems whatsoever. Our railways are going to be done in 8 weeks at this time, and that is looking solid. The Dutch flu is continuing to spread, and that's hitting Moscow. That's going to be painful for us. No doubt about it. That is going to be significantly painful economically now that it's hit Moscow. But it'll burn out soon enough. And our population is holding pretty steady to its trend line, so I think that that's reasonably fine. I'm not too concerned about the plague response at all. This seems good. So our railway in Armenia is finishing now. Boy, a lot of people are helping out the Dutch right now. Okay, electricity shortage in Bryansk. Let's take a look at what we've got going on here. This needs an expansion. In Outer Manchuria, this needs an expansion. And I think this is probably actually to do more with our plague response than anything. This needs to be subsidized, I feel like, but maybe we could get one railway expansion there. Okay. So our power plant in Tomsk is going to be done shortly, and we are working on quite a lot of oil rigs right now, actually. So the reason that this is happening is because our private constructions are actually not getting enough here. There's no state with enough infrastructure for private constructions, and we lack the technology or workforce needed for railway. Okay, so that means that our private constructions are largely maxed out at this moment. That's okay, we're not shocked about that. Yep, we've got the plague continuing to spread. That is fine. 2% of middle strata pops becoming more loyalist sounds good. We're not going to fund that academic journal. We have some economic woes right now from the plague, and that is fine. I'm not too concerned about it. We have gold reserves to last us a while. So the flu pandemic should end relatively soon-ish. So we can continue to pandemic response, and we should definitely do that. Okay, that is going to hurt our economy. That is understood. 100% that is going to hurt our economy. But we're going to keep building in the background here, and it should be fine. We do see our construction has dropped. Yes, that is understood. Like I said, when it hit Moscow, we knew that that was going to be a problem. But I don't mind it. Our economy does drop to number 2 worldwide because of it. But it's not shocking. Okay, Communist Finland capitulated. Mostly our problem right now boils down to the flu epidemic. Ah, hey, there we go. People mass immigrating to Tver. I like it. That is very solid. And what other problems do we have here? I mean, we've got a lot of local input goods shortages. This is mostly due to our pandemic response. We knew that this was going to cause issues in the short term. But like I said, I'm prioritizing having the population in the medium to long term going into Hearts of Iron over having the slightly better short-term economy. The economy will recover, and that seems absolutely okay. The question is, when will this pandemic burn out? Right? It will eventually. Eventually. So that's all okay. Eventually, actually, it's kind of not spreading anymore. It might be starting to end, which would be very good for us. We have lost a decent amount of GDP from that. It was all due to Moscow. False democracy? We don't have false democracy. Their supporters aren't voting. Ours certainly are. There we go. Fantastic. So it's currently 1933. I think that next episode is going to be our final episode, and we'll probably, in the middle-ish of the episode, transition into Hearts of Iron. Actually, I don't like that. That would be kind of neat on, like, a production level, but we would need... I need to divide it into multiple series for the algorithm when we're changing games, so unfortunately that doesn't work. I like the idea. I like the idea quite a lot. We might just have to go slightly later or something. I'm not sure. Electric railways have been unlocked, which is, you know, convenient. That gives us a bunch of production methods. I'm not sure that these production methods are smart to switch to right now. We can definitely see about that. This fertilizer plant should be on nitrogen fixation process, and we'll have it be publicly traded. That seems reasonably fine. Electric engines is going to be painful for the motor industry, and we can make that be publicly traded. But we should do that for the time being. Okay, chemical fertilizers. Yes, to all of these. So this is going to be painful economically. And we already know that we have painful economy here for reasons that are unrelated to our economy, right? We know that we have the flu pandemic ongoing. But that's okay. We're going to go with refrigerated rail cars here. This is going to cause issues. Do we go to electric trains? That's going to absolutely soar the price of electricity. And I'm doing it. We're gonna do it. Okay. So now we know that we're gonna have a lot of electricity shortages and market access issues. This is going to be a thing for a little bit here. So the question is, how much of this is caused by our economy, like the flu pandemic, and how much of it is caused by other things? We're going to take engineer pops becoming more loyalist. Sounds good. Okay. So our loyalist numbers are improving. We are getting some radicalism ticking up. This is almost certainly due to the standard of living dipping. And that reason is, of course, because the Dutch flu is still a thing. 42 out of 52 states fulfill this requirement. Okay. So we need the flu pandemic to end. And actually, we're doing better economically right now. That's noted. We do need to hop in over here. Actually, we don't need to change our pandemic response. Okay, we can just change that every 6 months. Gotcha. That's fine. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in here, and next episode, we're going to wrap this up. We've got a lot of electricity shortages, and we're going to want to play this as if we're not going to end the game next episode. So we're going to be working on our market access, we're going to be working on our electricity. I doubt that we're going to declare any additional wars before the end of the game. We might be able to do some, like, annexations or something along the lines of that. We'll see what ends up happening, but we're going to hit the end of the game very, very shortly. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.